Thank you, Sunilji. Radhe Radhe. Good morning, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Daily Wisdom from Bhagavad Gita session. Radhe Radhe, Nitinji, over to you.
Radhe Radhe Pallaviji. Thank you very much. And thank you, Sunil Bhai and Madan ji, for a wonderful session, like always. So, welcome everyone. Good morning, good evening to all of you. As we continue on the journey of Gunas, and we will peel some more layers in this interesting and fascinating topic and see how, for most part of our life, and why we are subservient to our Gunas. We'll look at through some interesting analogies and stuff like that. So again, a very warm welcome to all of you. Let me share my screen and we will get started by invoking the blessings of God and Guru. If you are new, we would love to hear from you, during the session, during the interaction, or otherwise, please fill in the feedback tracker. That way we get to know about you. And it's always good to interact with new people as they come forward, either on recitation or during interaction. So let me get started then. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsa Chanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. Radhe Radhe, good morning, good evening to all of you. Because we have a lot of people who express interest in recitation, and because of the time constraint, because we want to spend a little bit of time on recitation, then move forward with our philosophical discussion on the commentary that Swamiji has provided us, and then we get into some of the Q&A, and followed by our devotional segment. That is how we divide our entire session. So in order to be fair, I would like you to put your name if you are interested in recitation, and we'll spin the wheel. And that way we can limit the number of people who can actually recite on a given day, because every day we have to leave out a few people now because of the interest everybody has. So we'll leave it to luck in that case, okay? And hopefully it will get balanced out over a period of time. So let's get started. And we'll recite it, and you're welcome to follow along. Prakrतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्सनविदो मन्दान् कृत्सन्नविन विचालयेत्. Okay, do we have?
Yeah, I see a couple of hands raised. Surendraji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Surendraji.
Radhe Radhe Prabhu, thank you. Prakrite guna sammudha sajjante guna karmasu tan krit samvido mandan krit sanvin vichalayate. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you, Surendraji. Okay, let's take a few more hands.
Samji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढा सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्.
Nice.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
Aparna ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Aparna ji.
Radhe Radhe. प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् अकृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्.
Very nice. Thank you, Aparna ji.
Sandhya ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. प्रकृतिर्गुणसम्मूढः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन् विचालयेत्.
Very nice, Sandhya. Radhe Radhe.
Rahul ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
प्रकृते गुण सम्मूढ़ा सजन्ते गुण कर्मसु तान् कृत्सन् विदो मंदान् कृत्सन् विन् विचालयेत्.
Wonderful. Very nice.
Shyam ji, Radhe Radhe, please go
Radhe
ahead.
Radhe, Shyam ji.
राधे राधे प्रकृते गुण सम्मूढ़ा सज्जन्ते गुण कर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मंदान् कृत्स्नविन् विचालयेत्. राधे
Wonderful.
राधे.
Very nice. Uday ji.
Yeah, Uday ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Prakritir guna sammoda sajjante guna karmashu tan akritsna vido mandan kritsna vinna vichalyet. Radhe Radhe.
Very nice. Thank you, Uday ji.
Ragi ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe. Prakrite guna sammoodaha sajjante guna karmasu tan kritsan vido mandan kritsan vin vichalayet.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Radhe ji.
Anita ji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead.
राधे राधे
Radhe Radhe.
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मन्दान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्.
Wonderful.
Thank you,
Anita ji.
Radhe.
Last but not the least, Riya ji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe, Riya ji, please go ahead.
Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe.
प्रकृतेर्गुणसम्मूढाः सज्जन्ते गुणकर्मसु तान् कृत्स्नविदो मंदान् कृत्स्नविन्न विचालयेत्.
Wonderful.
Radhe
Very
Radhe.
nice. Thank you, Riya ji. Okay, so let's get started. So Lord Krishna is telling now that we are having a discussion of gunas. He says that those who are deluded by the operation of the gunas become attached to the results of their actions. Okay, this is also a byproduct of our attachment, basically thinking that we resonate with our gunas without really thinking that it is the prakriti which is actually making that happen. Okay, now they become attached to the results of their action. However, the wise who understand these truths should not unsettle such ignorant people who know very little. Lord Krishna has spoken about this concept earlier also. Now he's telling the same thing with regards to the gunas. Okay, we should not unsettle ignorant people who know very little. Okay, now who are those ignorant people is what we are going to talk about. Okay, so this is what we're going to talk about today. How can we increase or decrease our gunas through the interaction and influence of external objects, lifestyles, practices, and thoughts? Okay, all these things can actually, these external things can actually influence, could be great influencers, and using those influences or choosing those influences, we can increase or decrease the proportion of our gunas. Okay, that choice is with us. That is what we're going to talk about. But let's first get into the gunas itself. You see the tamas, rajas, sattva. Now, sattva is synonymous with light, balance, harmony, kindness, openness, clarity, intelligence, awareness, wellness, inspiration, all these good things. Rajas is energy, activity, change, passion, dynamic, egotism, agitation, excitement, movement, attachment, all that stuff. Attachment is part of Rajas, by the way. And by the way, anyways, darkness, that is tamas, inertia, inactivity, staleness, laziness, stability, materiality, insentience, obstruction, all that stuff. So from sleeping to waking up state to sleeping back again during the entire duration of our day, not even for a second, we are not under the influence of these three gunas. All the times we are under the influence of these three gunas. and we cannot be free from them except when we are doing devotional service. Now, this is an important thing to understand. When you are doing devotional service, that means when you are doing seva. Hopefully, you have all signed up for seva teams. Any form of seva that you are doing, that is the only time you are not under the influence of these gunas, because now you are doing something for a bigger purpose. Okay, not for any selfish deal, right? So whether it is helping out spread the message in whatever little way we can, or selling pani pudis, or brooming, or sweeping the floor, it is called devotional service, and that's when you are not under the influence of these gunas. Now you are actually attaching to nirguna or gunatit or shuddha sattva. All three are same. Because this time we are remembering, hearing, loving the God. We are doing it for the pleasure of God, for a higher purpose, as a service to Guru, or for a higher purpose. And that is the only time when Maya loosens its vice-like grip on us through these gunas. Okay, that is the significance of doing seva. If you're not doing seva, you're doing your job or anything else, unless you're doing karma yoga, of course, you are under the influence of these gunas. Your mind has to be under the influence of these two gunas. There's no other way. Okay, the best you can do is sattva, but that is also not good enough. But that is how it goes. So let's look at how this unfolds. Okay, I call it a banana peel syndrome. Okay, you look at this guy, gentleman. I don't know what his name is. Now, what is he thinking? There's a banana peel lying in front of him. What is he thinking? Anybody? What's going to happen when he looks at the banana peel in front of him? What should he do? It's lying in front of the road where he's supposed to walk from. Yes, Sandhya?
Please go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. Depends upon his guna. Maybe he, I think I remember hearing something about this. So he might be thinking, oh, I might fall from this, fall on this, and then he will not take it and put it aside. Rather, he will try to just feel negative.
Yeah, that's good. Shyamji is giving big smile. So let's hear from him. Let's see how much he remembers from last year.
Yes, Shyamji, please go ahead.
Radhe Radhe. I do remember, bhai. I'll fall down.
Okay, yeah, I'll get back to that. Yes, Surendraji and Prabhat, I see him as well. So Prabhat, you wanted to add something?
Simple thing is that we have to pick it up, throw it in the garbage box, so that neither I fall nor any other will fall.
Right. Yes, Prabhat, you wanted to add something?
Yeah, I just want to say the same thing. Like if we see such type of thing on the road, then we have to think about Parmaran, and in that sense, we have to throw it in the dustbin so that no one will come and fell because of it.
Right. Very nice. Yes, Rita, you wanted to add, and then I'll move on. I think I'll make the point quickly. Not move on. A lot of content to be covered. Yes, Rita ji.
Sometimes it depends on your which mode of guna you are in. If you are in tamogun, it says, "Oh, I don't care," and if you are in rajas, you will just pass through and walk out. But if you are in sattva guna, you will think about others, that somebody will fall down, or why it's sitting here. So you have a special time, pick it up and throw it on the trash.
Great. Very true. I'll give you an example of the mango tree. How based on your gunas, the same activity, you would think about it differently. However, this is more of a pun intended thing, because when I have to make a point about somebody, and that somebody, Shyamji know who that somebody is, I usually bring in these kind of examples. So this guy, when he looks at this banana peel, you know what he thinks? He says, gosh, I have to fall again today. Okay, I'll have to slip again today. And then when he sees another banana peel, he thinks, oh my God, today I have to slip twice. And then he sees the third one, he says, oh my God, I wish I had 3 legs. Right? He's worried, how am I going to where am I going to put my third leg? Because 2 legs will be exhausted. So the point is, what is this person doing basically, right? Right? If you're feeling that what kind of a stupid person he is, that stupid person is nobody other than us because of ignorance. So let's assume these 3 peels as sattva, rajas and tamas. We have no clue and we keep falling to that. Okay, because we have not taken control of riding our gunas as yet. So this guy is nobody but us only, who has to succumb to the gunas, because we are enslaved by our gunas, and we choose to slip because we don't know anything better. Right? I told that Vedvyas had said that ajnanam evasya mool karanam, ignorance is not a bliss. Ignorance brings in misery. If ignorance would bring in bliss, then the drug addicts and all the humans would be the most happiest people on the earth, because everybody is under ignorance. Are they happy? They are not. So ignorance does not bring in bliss. It is miserable, right? There's a story of a guy, who was rewarded by his king because one of the help that he had extended to that king on one of the expeditions that that king was on, and the king was so happy with this poor man that he gave him an entire forest of sandalwood as a reward. Okay, but when he goes back to check out on him after 6 months, this guy is still poor. He's wondering, I gave him sandalwood. Sandalwood is so precious, right? He could have minted money like anything and should have been a billionaire by now. Apparently, this guy was burning sandalwood and selling it as a coal. Why? Ignorance. Doesn't know, right? So ignorance is not a bliss. And in human life, we are doing something similar, right? We are underselling this body, which is more like a jaguar, and using it like a balgadi, okay, by doing mundane things only. So this is the ignorance where we are subservient to our gunas. Okay. By the way, let's move on the joke. And what happens when he sees the fourth banana peel as well? Anybody? Shamji, remember? No? You know what he thinks? Okay, we'll not have a big discussion on this. He thinks, wish my wife was also along. Okay, anyways. Now let's move on. So here's a monk. Monk goes on to take bath. Okay, and a scorpion stings him. Okay, so then again, it puts it back. Again, the scorpion comes and stings it. Again, it puts it back. Again, it comes, it puts it back. Now, what he's doing, the scorpion is born out of its own instinct because it's an animal. However, this guy is born out of sattva, paropkar that he's doing. He's saying, you do what you need to do, I'll do what I have to do. Okay, so this is again an analogy to explain this concept. Saint Eknath, there's a story for that as well. He was taking bath in Narmada, and when he came out, there was a Pathan. Okay, not the movie Pathan. Okay, there was a Pathan who actually spit out on him the moment he came out. When he spit on him, he again went back to Narmada and took a bath. He came out, he again spit back at him. Again he went back, again he spit. After that, he said, what kind of a person are you? Pathan says, are you made up of wood or something? I have been doing that, and there is absolutely no reaction at all. He said, I am actually thankful to you. Because of you, I took in bath in Narmada 21 times. I've never done that before. So he is born out of his guna. This other person is born out of his guna. So both are acting in accordance with their gunas. So that is the key concept. And we are also enslaved to our gunas only. Okay. And it's very difficult to transcend our gunas. And gunas are so powerful that, they don't leave you. Even when you keep progressing, the best thing that we can do is to channelize it. Like this guy did. This guy, he was a very stingy, miserly guy. He would not spend even a single dime. And he came to know about Manasi Bhakti. Okay, that Manasi Bhakti, no kharcha, and you can do whatever you want to God. He said, wonderful. It's like hitting a lottery, because when you can do free of cost bhakti to God, where you don't even have to worry about buying something, big hars and stuff like that, or expensive flowers, nothing like it. He was anyway stingy. So he was stingy, and he continued to do that Manasi Bhakti in mind, free of cost, and gaining those benefits. And in his Manasi Bhakti, he would buy the most exotic and the most expensive of necklaces and flowers and put it on God, until he reached a stage where he had perfected it. And one day he decided to cook something for God. He said, today I'm going to make kheer. And when he was making kheer, he had a saffron box with him in his mind, and he put some saffron. And when he put the saffron, in his Manasi Bhakti, he put the entire bottle in. And when he put the entire bottle in, his gunas kicked in. He was miserly, right? His guna took over, and he started taking one saffron out, one by one out. He said, my God, such a big loss. I have to take the saffron out. And that was the time Krishna said, okay, it's time to intervene. Anyway, this guy has worked so hard. So he gave him darshan. He just grabbed his hand. He said, "You conjuice makhi juice. First of all, you are doing it in mind, and still you are worried about this saffron." So nevertheless, the point here is gunas are very strong. Okay, they don't leave us. Like this guy about the banana peel example I gave you, we all slip. We choose to slip because we don't know anything better. These gunas play and we play along. That is how it goes. Okay. There was another stingy guy, one day he decided to, he was taking a stroll on his balcony and he fell down. And when he was falling down, he looked at his home and his wife was cooking and he just gave her an instruction, 2 rotis less today. Okay. He didn't want to lose money even then. So that is how strong our gunas could be. Anyways, so the point here is, unless we do something about it, our gunas are driving us. Okay. We need to take control. Now, what are these gunas? Let's look at this. Let's start with sattva. In this state, harmony, balance, joy, intelligence, they are the symptoms of this guna. Now, yogis strive towards it. They try to reduce their rajas and tamas. And when they do that, it is a stepping stone towards liberation, right? The moksha concept that we talk about. And the sattvic qualities are when you are delightful, you are cheerful, happiness, peace, wellness, freedom, love, compassion, equanimity, empathy, friendliness. All these positive energies are sattvic. Gratitude, fearlessness, selflessness. And this binds us by means of attachment to knowledge and joy. However, it is still binding. It is a higher level of energies that you are associating with, as you can see, but it is still binding. But it is a good place to be. Everybody wants to have a satisfaction, trust, fulfillment, calmness, bliss, cheerfulness. So sattva is a good place to be. Okay. This is the next best thing to God. If somebody says, I don't believe in God, this is the next best thing they can do. Okay, start acquiring or striving towards godly virtues or sattvic gunas at least. Okay. Now, it is a guna that people want to increase in order to reach the state of samadhi or liberation. Increasing sattva is possible by reducing rajas and tamas, both in your mind and in your body. Okay, so it's a process, of course. Sattva, right from your diet, ahar, vichar, vyavhar, right? What you eat, what you think, and how you behave, all have to be controlled for you to progress towards that guna. Right? It has to start with the food that you're giving to your stomach, the food that you're giving to your mind, and the way you conduct yourself aligning to the higher virtues or noble virtues or the higher forms of energies like this. This is sattva, which is good. Then we have, but it is binding. You can reduce rajas and tamas both in your mind and in the body. We spoke about it, this concept already. Let's move on to this binds us to knowledge and joy. And it leads us to celestial abodes. We have spoken about this concept. It takes you to celestial abodes, also known as the golden jail. Like Rahul had put in that question, it comes again. It's a good aspiration for people, normal people. And that is what Lord Krishna is saying. He said that people who are ignorant, don't tinker with them. Don't tell them, hey, you are just being good. You need to go beyond that. We are reading Bhagavad Gita, so we are discussing this concept. But people who are doing that and people consider going to Swarg as an aspiration, and until they're ready for the next message or the bigger or higher message, you let them do what they're doing, is what essentially what Lord Krishna is saying. Okay, you don't tinker with that, because first of all, they'll not understand, and secondly, it may break their faith in what they're doing as well, right? So let them do what they're doing until they grow into the higher concepts. The next one is the Rajas. This is where predominantly the world, most of the people in the world are. Right? It's like state of energy. Let's do it. Action, like Nike's punchline. Let's do it. Or Accenture's punchline. Consider it done. So it is rajas, which leads to attraction, longing, attachment, fruits of our work. We get attached to that because of rajas. And the other rajasic qualities are anger, euphoria, anger, anxiety. So it is also anger. Other name for anger actually stems from rajas guna only. Okay, Bhagavad Gita explains that as well. Even euphoria, where you go in one end of the spectrum or the other end of the spectrum, right? We spoke about that concept. Both extremes are born out of rajas only. Fear, irritation, worry, restlessness, stress, courage, rumination, determination, chaos, all these are rajas. It's characterized by the feeling of attachment, longing, satisfaction, or desire. So all the desires, they stem from this rajas only. Okay, this is where the world operates. And the third one is tamas, that we need to stay away from. See, tamas is good only when we have to sleep, 6 to 8 hours recommended. Other than that, tamas is usually a negative energy. If you look at it, it's a state of darkness, ignorance, inertia, inactivity, materiality, where you're too obsessed with material things. Okay. Tamas manifests from ignorance and deludes all beings from their spiritual truth. You go further and further away from the light, right? That is why it's given a black color. Crimson is the rajas, but black means ignorance. Other tamasic qualities: laziness, disgust, attachment, depression, helplessness, doubt, guilt, shame, boredom, addiction, hurt, sadness, apathy, confusion, grief, dependency, ignorance. Look at these words. They are all born out of tamas. Right? When you build dependency, I will be happy because of this person. Yeah, that's it. Tamas manifestation. When you get addicted, when you are feeling guilty, when you have helplessness, oh my God, my life is a waste, I cannot do anything, laziness, depression, disgust, having disgust towards somebody, it's all tamasic qualities. And it manifests itself as impurity. That means it's a symptom of an impure mind, because our mind is made up of these three gunas. So if you gravitate towards a particular thing, it will tell us basically how impure the mind is. Darkness, it is the consequence of ignorance, that it prevents all beings from seeing reality, and it takes us further and further away from truth. Right? When it says truth, truth means looking at things as they are, not looking at things as they seem. Okay. So that is the difference. And when we attach to negative or lower forms of energies and not tackle it systematically through the higher knowledge, it takes us further and further into the darkness and further away from God and truth. Okay, so that is not a good, we need to be very wary and cautious about falling into the trap of some of these things. Okay, I see a couple of hands. Yes.
Yes, Sandhya ji, please go
Yes, Sandhya.
Yeah, so this is regarding sattva. So if someone's sattva is strengthened a lot, instead of facilitating further going into Shuddh Sattva, can it also hinder that process?
It gives you attachment to that. See, this is also attachment. If you look at Sattva, one of the things is it binds us to attachment to knowledge and joy. You start enjoying for yourself. Of course, Sattva is going to give you bliss. When you do charity, thinking of I am the doer, it's giving you a higher level of bliss and satisfaction. So that is also addicting. Sattva is also binding in that sense. Right? Some people get addicted to helping others. Good, it's a good addiction. However, until you are bringing God into the mix, it's still binding. Right? And when it is binding, at best, you go to the celestial abodes. But like I said, it's next best thing to having a God consciousness, having a sattvic consciousness, because it is a stepping stone. You are almost there on the surface. And sattva should actually lead you to higher truth, because then that question would come, okay, what is the source of goodness? Or I'm still not having that sense of satisfaction because I need to do more. Like, for example, if you look at some of the biggest philanthropists of this world, Rockefeller, and more recently, I don't know, Bill Gates, and these people, after accumulating everything, after doing a lot of rajas action and doing, gaining material wealth and all that stuff, they still had a sense of dissatisfaction, right? And when they had that sense of dissatisfaction, now they're trying to fill it through by giving it away. Of course, it is giving them a higher bliss. However, when they reach the peak of that also, they will see, okay, there is still something missing. And then hopefully it will lead to the next stage of doing it for the pleasure of God, which will start filling in that gap as well. But to your point, sattva is also binding. Yes, you can start enjoying that goodness also, or the bliss that comes along with because of sattvic deeds.
But then you're saying it is a stepping stone only. It will only facilitate that process to
right, as long as you're not getting stuck. Because if you're fueling your ego, right, God will start making his way, and when you start clearing that way. So if it's leading to humility, sure, but if it is leading to swelled pride, then it may take longer. But yeah, it's a good place to be in, at least in this world, to be striving for sattva. You are increasing your odds of intervention from God sooner than later at that point, right? Because you're at the surface already. Yes, Jyoti?
Jyoti ji, please go ahead.
We can't hear you.
Can't hear you, yeah. You're unmuted. Yeah.
You're unmuted, but we can't hear you. Okay, you may want to fix your audio. We'll come back. All right, so like we said, sattva is also binding, then rajas is action, and tamas is something we need to refrain from because it's a lower energy and it's not helping us. On the contrary, it can take us further and further away from God and more into the abyss of darkness. Okay. Now, if you look at infatuated by these three modes of material nature, the people, you see this magnet, how it's pulling people. This is how the gunas pull us. We looked at that example of guy falling 3 times with each guna. That is the strong pull these gunas have over us, right? And they are unable to perform actions as a matter of duty without desiring rewards because these gunas are dictating them. They feel this, what do you call that, unstoppable pull because of their gunas. And if we don't have a spiritual spark or we have not questioned why are we here, who is God, what is our relationship with God, or what is the bigger purpose of life, if we have not had these questions in our mind, we would continue to lead our life getting further and further deepening our gunas, existing gunas that we have, because there's no reason for us to challenge that, and because we are not even aware our gunas are driving us, right? And your buddhi will justify whichever guna is activated at that point. Even a thief is doing things thinking he's doing the right thing in the world, right? And his buddhi is justifying it because it is the right thing to do based on his needs or whatever the situation that person is in. So this is the infatuation that we are driven with. Now, if you look at this, it's the sensory gratification. If you look at it, the only aim in that case for these people is to work for the express purpose of being able to enjoy sensual and mental delights. That's it. Sensual and mental delights. That is only the purpose of life. That will give us satisfaction, and that is all we want to crave for. That is the whole game for them. Okay. So what Lord Krishna is saying, he's saying Kritsna with people with knowledge. They are called Kritsna with. And then on the other hand, he's saying that they should not disturb the mind of akritsna with, people without knowledge. Okay, do not disturb their mind. He's saying rather they should instruct the ignorant to perform their respective karma and slowly help them rise above attachment. Again, going back to the same principle, why it is important to do prescribed duties. Okay, prescribed duties or varnashram dharam is designed for our upliftment only. It will gradually dawn upon you the higher. Basically, it will pave the way for the higher knowledge when we continue to perform that, right? Life starts teaching us lessons. Our struggles start teaching us lessons. It will tell us the frailties of human life. It will tell us you have absolutely no control. It will give you enough reasons to start thinking deeper about the purpose of life. If you really keep your ears and eyes open, right? And you typically at the middle age, people start having this realization, oh man, what's the point of life and this and that. Not everybody has that, but typically when life starts slowing you down, in youth, you think the world is at your feet. But when life starts catching up with you, that's when you start getting reasons to start thinking deeper. Okay. And that is where continuing to perform duty is a stepping stone to higher knowledge. So in these kind of people, when Lord Krishna is saying, don't disturb them, because if they continue, just encourage them to perform their duties. Okay. And in this way, when after presenting the distinctions between those who are spiritually wise and those who are ignorant, now he's cautioning not to unsettle the minds. It could unsettle their minds as well. So the wise should not force their thoughts into ignorant people by saying you are soul, not the body, hence karma is meaningless, give it up. Okay, again, it's the same principle. Lord Krishna is reiterating, telling that don't give them a higher message unless they are ready for it, because it may confuse them and even derail their current progress the way they are making it. And other thing that needs to be understood is everybody is perfectly situated where they need to be. Now, does it mean You will not speak about this content or about Krishna or about higher principles with your near and dear ones, right? That next question that comes, because they may not be ready for it. You take a judicious call on it. If they are soliciting, sure, help them out. But if they're not soliciting that and they are too hung up with their lives, then if you do that, it may have a reverse effect. They will not only block you as a spammer, but also, may even say negative things about what you are doing and stuff like that, and unnecessary debates and stuff like that. So that's where Lord Krishna is just giving us a caveat around it. Okay. Now, if you have established this in your mind, that you're not obliged to follow these rituals, but you're not criticizing. Now, if somebody's following rituals, you say, why do you keep on doing that? That is also not good, basically, because we understand that these rituals are a stepping stone for purification, right? But let them go through the process until they are ready for the higher message. Okay, so let people do that. At least they are doing rituals, they are doing Sandhya Vandan, they are waking up in the morning, they are doing vratas, right? So whatever they are doing, that's fine. But if they're ready for the higher message, we could facilitate that process. But if they are not ready, Lord Krishna is saying, don't unsettle their mind. Let them continue to do that, because they're perfectly situated where they need to be. And when they will grow into these higher concepts, then they will be ready. When they're ready, they will grow into these concepts. Okay. And all these things that we come, they are born out of our gunas only. Okay. When we perform rituals and stuff like that, it's an accumulation of gunas and our nature and tendencies and sanskars over lifetimes, right? So it's not something that can get negated just because you are telling it to somebody. You have to understand there's a huge baggage of so many lifetimes that has brought these people to where they are. So just by having a 2-minute or a 5-minute or a 10-minute conversation with them on this topic is not going to change their life. There's a huge baggage around that. Okay. So these gunas are always present, but they vary in relative amounts. Quick summary. We humans have the unique ability to consciously alter the levels of gunas in our bodies and mind. We can alter that. Yesterday we spoke that depending upon your mood, you will listen to certain music, right? Your mood dictates the kind of music you want to listen. And conversely, it happens as well. When you start feeding yourself sattvic music or gunatit music like bhajans, your mind will start cooperating as well. Both works both ways. So that is why it says you force feed yourself satsangs and bhajans until your mind starts liking it, because it's a good food we are giving to our mind. It's just like sugarcane juice I speak about, right? Initially, it may seem bitter because our gunas are more in tamasic or rajasic mode. But as you keep it giving more and more sugarcane, right, not only your gunas will transcend to sattvic and shuddha sattva, so you'll start getting the real taste of it, and it will cure you as well, just like jaundice, right? You keep feeding the patient sugarcane juice, which may seem bitter to begin with. It will not only start tasting sweet, but also cure the ailment as well. So we have an ability to transcend our gunas with proper knowledge, and that is where exercising free will comes into picture. Okay, we can consciously act upon to encourage or increase or decrease our gunas. So we very well have an ability to increase or decrease our gunas. Okay, for decreasing, it will take effort. If you have to decrease, let's say tamas or rajas, for increasing, it will not take much effort. You want to increase sattva, yes, it will take effort. If you want to increase rajas or tamas, it will happen by default. Okay, decreasing tamas and decreasing rajas will take effort, and increasing sattva will take effort. Rest all happens automatically, because that is how our gunas work. Okay. Now it can be increased by interaction and influence of external objects, lifestyle, practices, and thoughts is what we've been talking about. So every situation in our life, if you look at it, this guy is going to step forward, is actually an opportunity where we are having our soul can maintain a status quo with its gunas, where you're born with certain gunas, basically predominant guna and a combination of guna that keeps on playing out. You can stay where you are, or you can become better at it. So every situation, circumstance actually presents us with this opportunity where we stay where we are, we can uplift ourselves, or we can downgrade ourselves. All three options are available to us. Okay, or we can downgrade ourselves. And if we are in a default mode, we are actually downgrading ourselves, because you might be born with 10 10% rajas and 10% tamas, right? So if we are not consciously working on it, by the end of this life, we might have increased that proportion to 50% because we are simply riding our gunas and doing more of what our mind is telling us. So if we simply keep following our mind, then it will take you deeper and deeper into the gunas that you came on this earth with, right? If you have rajasic tendencies, more, bigger, better, enjoy. Tamasic tendencies, maybe more of intoxication and stuff like that. So that is how it can be, unless we take control, it can be very dangerous. Now, this is how they manifest our situation, circumstances. I'll give you a quick example on that and then open it up for discussion. See, our surroundings and the kind of choices we make, they do influence, increasing or decreasing our gunas. For example, if you look at these swans, they congregate on a mountain lake. Right? Beautiful place. That is where they congregate. Everything is peaceful. So there's a certain level of environment that they are, which is conducive for their congregation, and that's where they congregate. Right? For example, we are sitting in a satsang right now, or you go for a satsang or somewhere. You need that conducive environment, and that is what your guna is driving you, taking you to, because you find it peaceful, you like it. So that is an example of swan. On the other hand, if you like to gossip and find faults in people, right, that means it's like the garbage. You see that? The crows, they get attracted towards it. Their guna is taking them to that kind of a thing. Swan's guna is taking them to peaceful, beautiful, placid places. Crow's gunas is taking them to garbage places, right? So whether we have to become a fly or a makhi or madhumakhi, they say, or a honeybee, the choice is always with us. If we get attracted towards good things, higher things, that means we have a predominant sattva. If we get attracted towards gossiping, fault finding, all the dirty stuff, lower energies around, that means we have a tamasic propensity that needs to be systematically tackled. So this is more about our awareness around where does our mind take us naturally, so that we can stop it and do something about dovetailing it or transcending that particular guna. So if we find a lot of negativity in our life, life is a mess and this is happening, that person is being mean to me and this person has done bad to me and my life, why me, and all that stuff, then we are more on the crow side. And if we have a tendency to see positive, having an attitude of gratitude, being a problem solver, solution-oriented mindset, progressive mindset, where you move forward rather than a regressive mindset, then you are a swan. But the bottom line is, regardless of where we are, we have to become better. If we don't become better, then it will basically take us deeper and deeper and deeper into those mindsets and deeper into those gunas, which is like digging a pit that we only have to climb over in some other life, if not this life. So that is what Lord Krishna is warning us. First of all, don't mess around with people who are having a certain tendency. They may have to learn their lessons their own way. And secondly, you can take control over your gunas by exerting your free will. And thirdly, there are certain symptoms where it's an introspective activity as part of your spiritual journal to see where does your mind get attracted naturally. Is it more of a garbage or is it more of a goodness around? And we need to move towards the goodness part of it, where we see good in things and look at things at a positive light, as opposed to getting hung up in negativity, bitterness, resentment, and all that negative things. So, okay, with that, I'll open it up and would like to hear from other participants as well.
Great discussion, Nitinji. I see Samji's hand raised.
Yes,
so,
Sam.
Yes, please go ahead.
Nitinji, you said that by default, we tend towards rajas and tamas, right? Not sattvas. I mean, this is the first time I'm hearing this. Why is it like that?
It comes naturally to us, right? Sattva takes a bit of effort. All the hard things are, God has made it. The things which are worthy of our pursuit are naturally made a little difficult because God wants us to exert to get those, right? So if you look at it, eating ice cream, do you have to put effort? Or sleeping extra, do you have to put effort? Or taking it easy, do you have to put effort? No, right? But if you have to work hard or do something, it takes a bit of an effort. So rajas, even tamas is the easiest thing, right? Falling into negativity is very simple. It's like a falling stone. But in order to push the stone up, you have to exert. fall down happens all by itself. So sattva, if you look at the ladder, sattva is already there. So for you to reach there, you have to climb, exert. For you to fall down doesn't take much.
Okay.
Thank you. Sandhya ji, please go ahead.
Yeah, so like we say, right, ki, at an early age, if someone is exposed to spirituality, it is better. But on the other hand, we are discussing that there is right time for everyone. They have their own journey. They will get exposed when they have to, when they start seeking it naturally, right? So this like somewhat sounds contradictory, and also like for us also, for example, if we wouldn't have heard this knowledge from you, like trying to implement it would not have been so easy. So are we saying that we can at least give it a try to expose people to this knowledge, but then not push it beyond the point?
Push is the key. That makes the difference. Okay, we don't impose this knowledge on anyone, right? You facilitate that as best as you can, but we cannot force this knowledge on somebody, and that's what Lord Krishna is talking about. Secondly, you said that some people early, the sooner we start, the better it is, right? And that is where part of it is by design only. We did not choose the family we are going to get born in. We did not choose the country we were supposed to born in. We did not choose the religion we were supposed to be born in. We did not choose the era in which we are supposed to born in, right? So a lot of things are dictated by our prarabdha part of it. And there are people who are born in families, where they can get exposure to this knowledge pretty early on. And that is also Lord Krishna is saying, I make it happen, because they have accumulated enough sanchit karma from previous life, making spirituality a priority so that they get this knowledge early on. And there are people who may not get that conducive environment and still have past sanskars, but because of their prarabdha are born in families which, even though may not be conducive for their spiritual growth, but their sanskars themselves are so strong that early on in age they pick up these concepts, right? We have so many young people in our session as well. How do you explain that? So God has that. It's like when you're ready, it will happen. So part of it is dictated and part of it is obligatory on us as being humans as well. You could be in tamas, not having favorable situation circumstances, and still, that knowledge, and you start exerting yourself, you could take your journey to another level itself. That's why God has given us the ability to do Purusharth and Kriyaman. It's not like, oh, it's in autopilot. But a lot of it, having favorable circumstances, is God's grace on us. But having good cards, you can still lose, and with bad cards, you can still win. So it really depends on how you are playing with the cards that you are dealt with in that particular life. But to your point, yes, I keep on talking about this topic to people whom I meet, but now I know where to stop. And this has been a fine-tuning process over the years. Okay, did not happen initially. I would go like, okay, how can you not understand me, kind of a deal. I'm trying to make you happy and you are rejecting happiness. But it took me a while to fine-tune it and let people grow into it if they're ready, right? Unsolicited doesn't work at all, right? So it's a bit of a ongoing exercise where we take our call without imposing our views on somebody.
Well said, Nitinji. Rahulji, please go ahead.
Yeah, Rahul.
Radhe Radhe. I think it is important to test the waters before revealing this knowledge or trying to convince somebody. Otherwise, there will be an argument and we might be doing nama aparadh. So it might be harmful for us also and for them also.
Very true. That's very true. Because yeah, it will be very harmful otherwise. Because your ego will take over in between. Like, how can they not understand this point that is clicking to me? A lot of things can happen. A lot of dynamics can unfold. So we got to be careful about, getting into arguments and trying to talk somebody into it forcefully.
And like you always say that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So unless we try to channelize our mind towards those 3 S's, seva, sadhana, and satsang, we might not relish that and we might not know what we are missing truly.
So best odds of exerting influence around this is to show them the way. If they look at you and they say something is working for them, because everybody has, whether they acknowledge it or not, right? Common problems in life are there. Everybody is struggling. Now they may refuse to acknowledge it, but if they see you, in a different zone altogether, being joyful and looking at the things in a different way, everybody aspires to be there. So then they may get, okay, what is working for you? There is some secret mantra you have. Can you give us that mantra? Then you can talk more. So that can only happen when you can show them the way and they feel inspired. Something is working for them, which we need to know as well. So typically this is the best way of passing on the message to somebody, by
Well said, Nitin.
truly improving ourselves and hoping that somebody would look up to you, and then they will come, and then in that way you can facilitate that process.
Right. Thank you, Nitinji. Actually, you answered Aparna ji's question as well. Aparna ji had the similar kind of question. So I hope she has gotten her answer.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I saw Naka Bugo ji's hand raised, but now I don't see her. Yeah,
Okay,
please
can you get to Champaji then?
Yeah, Champaji, Radhe Radhe, please go ahead, and then I'll go ahead with the other questions. Yeah.
Radhe
Radhe Radhe. Yeah, what an excellent topic. My take on this is to start at an early age, the practice of spirituality is very good. But I was not fortunate. Even though I was born in a family with a very conducive atmosphere, in our days, a middle class setup is work is worship, nothing else. We had no time for anything else. I mean, not that we were atheist, but we had no time to sit and attend to the discourse or practice any extra spiritual activity. So from morning till evening, looking after the house and the work. And after 60, when I retired, I completely turned to spirituality. In one way, I feel it is good because I have no other distraction now. I can devote completely. By God's grace, both my daughters are very independent and they don't need me for anything, even though they emotionally support me a lot. But starting at an young age has more advantage, but there are chances of some going at a high speed and after the diversion falling also. That happens many a times. But when I see in this group all these lovely youngsters, I feel so proud of them and so nice to see them all at such a young age. I hope they don't fall down at all and they keep progressing. Because at our age, the health will not permit a rigorous practice. Everything becomes slow, even in learning, practicing, everything becomes slow. At your age, like Dhruv Maharaj and Prahalad and all, you can really realize God very early. Thank you, Radhe Radhe.
Thank you, Champaji. Beautiful. Yes. So none of them will fall. Okay, that is a guarantee. We'll take, okay, because they are not allowed to leave the sessions, and if they don't, we are not going to let them fall at all. But yes, sooner if we get that opportunity, it's a privilege actually, and which is facilitated by God himself. So we all should feel good about that and really express our gratitude to God to have given us this opportunity early on in life, and should make the most of it. So in that sense, it's very, and Champaji, you very rightly said, I'm so glad, now you have all the time and you are devoting it to the best possible use. Right? It's always a pleasure to hear from you. But yes, I would say the relatively youngsters, they are, they should feel very fortunate about this as well and make the most of this opportunity. And the more you're fertile your mind is, the more you can capture it. Typically, when do we do in Varnashram Dharam, what is the stage when someone is supposed to study brahmacharya? That means that at that moment, your axons, neurons, and all that stuff are at its peak. You can pick up concepts, you can grasp concepts, you can memorize stuff and all that stuff. So why did we have to make an exception when it comes to learning spirituality? Like people say, we will do it when we will grow old and we have nothing to do, or when we will retire. It doesn't make sense. You should do it when you have this thing, faculty very fertile, and you can pick up concepts sharply, right? So this concept is not correct. And Maharaj used to say that when you get old, then you will do bhakti of your body, because things change. Brahmaji has given us a body that unless we take care of it with age anyway, it becomes slower with age and other things. I've always, I've stopped playing tennis already. Okay, not that I've become aged as yet, but it happens. So the sooner we start understanding these principles, the better it is. And it is like hitting a lottery. I mean, we should feel so good about this thing.
Yeah, besides we have time to fix all the mistakes.
True.
And do not regret that we would have known this earlier.
True.
We could have fixed this.
True. And we can use life as a laboratory. See, it's a closed group. We can express our mistakes, where we are falling down, what is working, what is not. And the whole idea is to walk each other home on this beautiful journey. And then we discuss concepts which are very, very deep. Okay, this knowledge I'm telling you that is made available to us on a platter is the best knowledge you can get in this Brahmand. Okay, that much I can tell you with confidence. Nowhere else you can get this knowledge so easily. Nowhere else. Okay, and that is the beauty of knowledge coming in from Maharaj and Swamiji. I mean, unbelievable. What we are doing is unbelievable. Okay, you can pinch yourself, but that is what it is.
Nitinji, yes. Can I quickly take one question from Jyoti ji? It is about, as you mentioned, we should look at things as they are instead of as they seem. So her request is that, can you please explain this with example?
Okay, that is the only thing I can't explain today. Okay, no, I'm just going to. So as they are means, see, when you're looking at the mirror, right? You have your face is not visible. So when you start peeling the dust layer around it, that's when you get clarity on seeing the things as they are. Otherwise, it may seem hazy. For example, if you put your stick inside a water, it will look crooked. But is it truly crooked? No. Why it is looking crooked? Because laws of physics, refraction dictates that, when you put it and all those funny things happen, it looks crooked. But the true state is it is straight. So how do you get to the state of from looking at it the way it is as opposed to looking at it as it seems? By dispelling your ignorance. And how do you dispel your ignorance? By tapping into the right kind of knowledge. And how do you tap into the right kind of knowledge? By tapping into knowledge which is coming from a saint. And one of the ways is attending these sessions, because it's a direct knowledge coming in from Maharaj and Swamiji, okay, which you can test in your life as a laboratory and see the results for yourself. It's not a hocus pocus stuff that is being spoken about, right? Beautiful principles, in-depth principle, logically, rationally explained, and that will dispel your ignorance if you start imbibing in your day-to-day life. So the knowledge becomes a realization when you start imbibing it. Otherwise, it remains a mere information. So you practice these concepts, learn to let go, start attaching to the higher, sattvic energies, bring God into the mix in your day-to-day activities and see the results for yourself in a matter of few weeks only.
Yeah, thanks, Nitinji. Nakabukoji has asked, is it bad to see someone's fault just to help that person to take the right direction?
3 professions are allowed to see faults in others. Doctors, because they have to fix people. If they don't see the fault in your eye, they can't operate on it. Lawyers, because that's a profession, right? And the third are, I believe, teachers, because they can correct it. If you are none of these, then it's better to focus on. As a parent also, at least in initial stage, you can, right? Not for the rest of the life, but making it a hobby or a passion or a mindset of finding faults in everybody is not a good state to be in, because that dirties our intellect, and then that fault will come in us as well. It's just like if you have so much of homework to do, why would you worry about somebody else's homework? Let's focus on our homework first. So that is not a good mindset to have, and we start looking at bad things only. But in these 3 professions, if you are there, of course you need to, because that's the very reason of your existence at that point.
Well said. Thank you, Nitinji. I want to remind everyone that feedback tracker is posted. Please put in your feedback, comments, questions in the feedback tracker.
Yes, and fill it up. Even otherwise, you can simply say hello also. Okay, that is also allowed. And please mention if you have an interest to recite shloka tomorrow, and don't put my name for the rest of eternity. Every day you put, and then only it shows up in that circle. All right.
Yeah. So Nitinji, can I quickly make a couple of announcements?
Yes, please.
For taking other hands. So
Yes.
there are some exciting announcements about Holi celebrations at Dallas. Holika Dahan will be on Thursday, March 6th from 5 p.m. CST, and Friday 4:30
I
a.m.
think there is
Okay,
a
this is
Pani Puri.
IST.
I think it is a Pani Puri event, and Holika Dahan is also taking place that day.
So
Yes,
there
it's
will
an
be
exciting
a lot
event.
of
Please
fun
follow.
in Radha Krishna temple, it looks like.
Yes, it
And
is.
then Holi celebrations are join the biggest Holi celebration in the DFW Metroplex. That is also near Radha Krishna temple. And that is evening featuring with I'm sorry, it's not evening. It is the event featuring the most popular Bollywood artist, Hari Anand and Aditi Singh Sharma performing live. So
Oh,
there will
Aditi
be a
Singh
lot of
Sharma.
exciting
That is Dhoom Machale. Huh? Okay, nice.
Dhoom Machale, yeah.
Okay.
And then one more exciting event is about the Seva Sadhana Week, March 5th to March 11th. That is also in RKT Dallas. And I am sharing all the information in the chat.
March 5th, that is day after tomorrow.
March 5th is from
tomorrow.
Yes.
Oh my
It's
God.
Sunday. It's Sunday.
Okay.
It's
Oh my
Sunday
God.
onwards.
That is awesome. That is going to be awesome. If you are not there, please sign up for it.
So that is from Sunday to Sunday through next Saturday, the entire week.
Yeah, I think that will be a very nice way to have an immersive experience in Seva and Sadhana and eat a lot of Karelas.
Healthy vegetarian meals. That is also Seva activities and healthy vegetarian meals will be given.
Yeah, I just qualified that vegetable also for you.
And that's it from my side.
Thank you, Pallavi. All right.
Yeah,
Who's
thanks
going
for
first? I see
waiting.
3 hands. You can prepare for devotional segment as well, because we'll quickly take these and then move towards our devotional segment after this. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. We will continue on this and peel some more layers on this concept and much more tomorrow. Yes, Manoranjan ji,
Yes,
you wanted to add
Manoranjan
something?
ji, thanks for
Kabir ji's
waiting.
Doha probably.
Please go ahead.
Radhe, am I audible? Namaskaram to all of you. Nitinji, first of all, I'd like to thank you for bringing such beautiful nuggets every day, nuggets of wisdom, so that we are all benefited. So I thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. Now we are discussing on the gunas. Now we discussed that what are the procedures, various procedures by which we can actually increase and decrease gunas. But my question is that, is it a fact that we can increase or decrease gunas? Suppose, for example, tamaguna, we said that we should shed away with tamaguna, but is it possible? Is it actually possible to shed away with tamaguna or rajaguna?
Not shed away. Some part of it is needed, right? If you don't have tamaguna, basically, how will you sleep? Rajoguna, if you don't have, how would you have a progressive mindset? So the whole idea is to fine tune your gunas so that it is beneficial for you, and at the same time not more than necessary what you need, which takes you into indulgence or inaction in this basically during the course of our lives. So if you have excessive rajas, then you will be like always action oriented, attached to the fruits of the results, enjoying life and all that stuff. If you have excessive tamas, you may be gravitating towards laziness, slothness, intoxication and stuff like that. All three are needed, but in the right proportion. So the whole idea is to reduce the unnecessary proportion of the gunas that you are having, move towards sattva or beyond sattva, shuddha sattva. That is the whole idea. And that is how you do have an ability to transcend your gunas. right? Somebody may have a rajas, let's enjoy life, let's enjoy life. Now you can reduce it by bringing in noble thoughts. Purpose of life is not to enjoy but to serve. So you are transcending your gunas, you are increasing your sattva or shuddha sattva and decreasing your rajas by bringing in that thought. Or your mind is saying keep sleeping, you get a lot of bliss in sleeping, but you can decrease your tamas by exerting your mind and disciplining yourself to rise up early and doing exercise. That means you are going from tamas to rajas now, increasing rajas there. And even further, where you say I will nourish my body and take care of my health so that I can serve God more, then you are going towards sattva. So you are decreasing, right, by exerting your free will. You thinking or you answering?
No, yes, I do agree to you. Just I like to add one point here. Actually, when we say that the concept when the gunatita comes, gunatita is actually nothing but controlling the gunas. Actually, if you see, for example, I'll give a very nice example. Let's take example of elephant and a lion. Now, by birth, elephant is a vegetarian, and they remain vegetarian throughout their life. They will never eat meat. And if you see a lion, they are non-vegetarian throughout their entire life. They are non-vegetarian. They will never eat vegetarian grass. Then how it is happening? Because it is happening due to their prakruti, swabhava. God has given some embedded software within them. So therefore, Tamaguna is basically a embedded software. That means you do it on your swabhava. But when you rise against your swabhava, then you are going towards Rajaguna and then obviously to Sattva-guna. So Tamaguna is something which is embedded with your swabhava. And it is not necessary to be shaded away, but you must rise above, must be guna, must be able to control those.
And only humans can do that. Animals cannot do that. They cannot rise. They are scripted. And they don't, so only humans have the ability to transcend their gunas. Great point, Manoranjanji. Let's quickly move to the remaining hands before we get into our devotional segment.
Yeah, sure. Nitinji, Jyotiji has to make some quick announcements. So I'll go ahead and take Jyotiji.
Are you making announcements today?
Please go ahead.
Okay.
You need to make me co-host so that I can share the screen.
Yeah, you are co-host.
Or we can do it tomorrow when everybody is there, maybe during the session. What do you think?
Fine. That is also fine. We can do it tomorrow. Yeah.
Let's do it tomorrow during the session itself so that everybody can. I think we are in the overdrive time, so let's do that tomorrow. I'll carve out those time because I wasn't aware of it. Let's do it tomorrow. We'll take the questions today. We could do it with everybody, during the window of our session itself. Yes.
Yes.
Prashantaji has not had a chance, so let's take Prashanta, and then Samji, you are getting third hit, right? Second, so let's give Prashantaji first.
Yes. Prashantaji, please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Radha. Actually, regarding these gunas and, like maybe like serving or, when we discard bhog or something, I have a question, I have written it somewhere, in the past, I have written it. I felt it very beautiful. So I'm just going to recite that. Okay. There is a book named Talmud of, I think it's of Jew people. And what is written is that तालमुद कहती है परमात्मा तुमसे ये ना पूछेगा कि तुमने जीवन में कौन कौन सी गलतियां किए हैं, गलतियों का वो हिसाब रखता ही नहीं, बहुत बड़ा दिल है। तालमुद कहती है परमात्मा तुमसे पूछेगा तुम्हें इतने सारे सुख के अवसर दिए मैंने, तुमने भोगे क्यों नहीं? जब बच्चे थे तब जवानी पर छोड़ा, जब जवान हो तो बुढ़ापे पे छोड़ोगे, और लोग बुढ़ापे पे अगले जन्म पे छोड़ रहे हैं, तो तुम जियोगे कब? स्थगित करने वाला आदमी जिएगा कब? So that is the question God asks. So I thought, right, that's true, right? We always keep, procrastinating, or we always keep, okay, I'll do it later. We don't actually do bhog in life. So what about that, right? We have the privilege, but we don't do the bhog. Isn't that a sin?
No, the only thing I one new thing that I like, not only thing, but one of the things I liked was the word sthagit. I had forgotten it. Postpone or procrastination is sthagit. So what you said is, see, when you GA, it's not about bhog. We are doing bhog anyways, regardless we are doing bhog in our life, right? You think we are doing yoga in our life? We are not able to do enough of bhog, and we keep on saying, okay, we will do this. We keep on postponing some of the bhogs, but in general, life is all about bhog only. But what Bhagavad Gita is telling us is that bhog needs to be yoga, where you are not doing it for your senses, you are doing it for the pleasure of God. And what you get in return is much higher than what you would have gotten through the bhog. That is the whole message of Bhagavad Gita. Because when we do bhog, it is a binding karma. Okay, but when we do yoga, it is a liberating karma. When we do bhog, it leads to misery. When we do yoga, it leads to joy, peace, and happiness.
So how do we differentiate we are doing yoga or bhog? I mean, what is the boundary line?
Are you doing it for your body or for your senses? Or are you doing it for a pleasure of God as a matter of duty? That consciousness dictates the same action as yoga or bhog. The mindset behind that act.
Okay, man, that means the intention is there, intention determines.
Intention. God is all about intention, nothing else. Okay, it's all about intention.
Okay, for example, I just want to add, if your intention is good, if your intention is good, but you have to take the harsh step in your life, hurting the other people's feeling. For example, you have to leave sometimes your own parents, for the sake of your career. Like, if they are not if they are not respecting your career or something, your intention is good to maintain or to strengthen your career, but at the same time your mother is sick and you have to leave her at that time. So do you think the intention matches or something like that? Do you think any kind of dichotomy there?
See, the dharma in a given situation is a very tricky question. Only God will know what will be a better dharma, right? For example, your house is on fire, right? And the village is on fire. Would you care to save your family first, or would you go out and save the village where more families are at risk? What is the better dharma? We don't know. So dharma is a very tricky situation, Was career important at that stage of life, or taking care of an ailing mother was important, right? So it's very treacherous thing. Only God would know what is the dharma in that case. And that is why he simplified it for us. You have the noblest of intention and purity at heart, and I will give you credit for that. And that becomes very contextual in those cases, right? During COVID time, there were very tricky situations where you'll not know what the person should do. Should they give up their career by traveling back to India, or be at the side of their, family member who might not survive because of COVID? Situations. So it's very difficult to know that. So in these situations, you simply pray to God and say, I can do only so much. And I want to keep my intention pure and sincere, as the best that I can do. And I'm not putting my interest alone at that. And then pray to God, and hopefully we'll get credit from him. But these kind of things are not in black and white. Okay, very difficult sometimes to know what is the higher dharma. Even people like Bhishma Pitama, they got it wrong. Yudhishthir got it wrong. So who are we to know what is the right dharma? Because God only knows what is the right dharma in a given situation. So only thing we have control is over our intentions and the sincerity that we can carry, because that is our insurance policy.
Okay, thank you.
Let's hear from Urvi. She may have a better answer for you. Yeah, Urvi. Urvi is going to give you a very interesting and a very nice, to the point answer.
No, actually, I have my own question.
Okay, go ahead, Urvi.
Okay. So Radhe, actually, I want to ask that, since we are discussing about transcending the gunas, only one thing I feel is that, like, if somebody knows, like, I'm attending the Gita class, and if they still come and ask me, what are you doing? So I'm like, I don't answer back, I just smile, but inside I know I'm not smiling. So, like, I feel irritated, and sometimes I also feel angry that why do they have to ask the same thing again and again, even if they know. So
it's okay,
I don't know how to.
It's okay. See, there are 3 stages, right? In when we put on a face. First of all, when somebody says something, it hurts you inside and it hurts you on the outside also, right? The second stage comes when it hurts you on inside, and outside you are able to put on a smile. So you are doing much better than the first stage. And third stage is where it doesn't matter neither inside nor outside, right? So both ways you are smiling. So we have to reach to that stage where you simply know that, okay, they are born out of their own gunas and they will not understand. So that's fine. You anticipate that from them rather than, oh my God, again, they've asked it. You like anticipate. Somebody's going to ask it again. Just give them a smile and that's about it. What else can you do?
Okay.
Don't fight
Got
back.
it. Thank
Just
you.
make peace with it.
Yeah, okay.
End of the
Thank
day, it's just a word, right? Word cannot cause turbulence in us. They're not truly harming you, are they? They've not hit you. Words, we just have to tolerate and make peace with words. That's it. How can words destroy us? They cannot. But 99% of the Ashanti in this world is because of words only. Nothing has happened. Words. That's it. So we have to make peace with it.
Yes,
Yes,
got it.
Sam, you're going to ask the question of the day. I'm very sure now, which is going to blow the wits out of us. Okay, are the singers ready? Go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead, Samji. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Firstly, Nitinji, you're late. I have already filled in the feedback tracker saying that please include my name for the rest of the eternity.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and the question is, Maharaj's philosophy is really great. I mean, I'm very convinced in almost all the almost all the aspects, except one thing, except at one place. I don't know why I'm still, my intellect is not getting convinced and I'm being pulled back. This concept of infinite karma, sanchit karma, and we don't know which one God will give us for a particular birth. That is really pulling me back, and I'm really struggling.
You want to control that drop? You want to control that drop? I just love this drop that
I'm
I'm
in that
having.
stage only.
I just
Currently,
love the drop I'm having in this life, and I want to settle all the scores related to this drop only. Huh? Is that what your question is about? See, if it's not making sense, that's okay. Not all the questions you need answer right now. So why do you want to answer? Keep progressing and it will make sense. But this is how it is. Scriptures are telling us, right?
Yeah,
so
when,
you cannot say part
correct.
of it I can understand, so that is true. Part of it I cannot understand, so it cannot be true. One day it will make sense.
Yes, but
What?
I don't know. I mean, the things that happened. Okay, if it had happened the way I wanted, then it may come under sin. But what is the problem? We have already done a lot of bad karma, infinite karma. This would have just added to that part and complete that and go in towards the devotion. Those kind of ideas thoughts I'm getting.
No. So Krishna's mercy is when you surrender completely, he's going to burn your stockpile of karmas. Which drop he picks up, only he knows. We can't challenge him on that, okay? He's God. We are tiny souls.
No, I'm
In
talking
fact,
about
it's his
Kriyaman.
mercy is giving us birth and opportunity, so we should be grateful for that. But we can discuss more offline, okay? I don't know why would you have problem with Krishna now, okay? That's not a good
No,
thing.
I'm talking about Kriyaman thing, not only
Kriyaman is giving you the ability, right, to work. So what's the problem with Kriyaman?
I think.
Maybe it's an offline conversation. I don't know what's confusing you. Okay, all right. Anybody for devotional segment, or we are already pretty much over today, so we can wrap it up. Or if somebody wants to, maybe one hand we can take today. Urvi is there. Okay, Urvi is that hand. Go ahead, Urvi, one bhajan, and then we'll wrap it up because I know we are already over time. Go ahead, Urvi.
Okay.
By the way, Urvi, you need to prepare for Holi. We are going to have a Holi special session, and then you are going to do that Holi Leela. Okay, that bhajan. You will get more time. You'll not have to rush through it. So we want everybody to savor that beautiful Leela that you sing. So prepare for Holi. We'll give you the dates. So look out for that session. We'll do a Holi special session on Bhagavad Gita as well.
Okay. So yeah, I wanted to sing Mere Guruvar Mere Giridhar Pyare.
Please go ahead.
मेरे गुरुवर मेरे गिरिधर प्यारे दुए कहीं हो न सपने हो न्यारे मेरे गुरुवर मेरे गिरिधर प्यारे दुए कहीं हो न सपने हो न्यारे हरि की कृपा से मिले गुरुवर प्यारे गुरु की कृपा से मिले गिरिधर प्यारे मेरे गुरुवर मेरे गिरिधर प्यारे दुए कहीं हो न सपने हो न्यारे गिरिधर तू है प्राण हमारे गुरुवर मेरे प्राण प्यारे गिरिधर तू है प्राण हमारे गुरुवर मेरे प्राण प्यारे मेरे गुरुवर मेरे गिरिधर प्यारे दुए कहीं हो न सपने हो गुरुवर कह भज गिरिधर प्यारे गिरिधर कह भज गुरुवर प्यारे मेरे गुरुवर मेरे गिरिधर प्यारे दुए कहीं हो न सपने हो Thank you, Radha.
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Very nice, Urvi. Thank you very much. I thought I'll do a little bit of Nam Sankirtan as well. Loved it. Beautiful. It's a very deep bhajan because with God's grace, we meet a guru. So when a guru comes in your life, that is with God's grace. And Guru returns the favor by gracing us to meet God. So with Hari's Kripa, we meet Guru, and with Guru's Kripa, we meet Hari. That is how this whole process. By the way, Shamji, today I came across a lecture which said that when you go to a dham, God's dham, like Vrindavan or Banke Bihari Mandir, and if you have some kind of a incident there, that is a huge mercy of God because they have taken away something big that was supposed to happen, and it happens in their dham only. So there are people who are saying that we got injured when they went to, and why does it happen in Vrindavan multiple times? They say because God, the way he works, it's his mercy that something big is supposed to happen in life and they take away that in their dham. So it's a huge grace. I was reminded of your incident. So that is how it goes. That's a huge grace of God. Great. So with that, we come to an end of today's session. I look forward to see you tomorrow. Stay blessed. Good day. Good night, everyone. Radhe Radhe.
Can I just add one little thing to what you said, Nitin sir?
Sure. Please, please.
Like I heard these two lines from Swamiji. I don't remember them as it is, but he said कि तुम्हारी जफा में भी अंदाजे वफा होता है क्योंकि इससे दिल का आईना सफा होता है.
Wow. Very true.
Beautiful.
Beautiful.
Can you please write it down? Please.
Write it down and send it to us. Okay. We want to compile a list of all the beautiful shares.
Yeah. Can you please do that, Urvi? Thank you.
So Urvi also sent, right? Meri chahi na karo main मूर्ख ज्ञान, तेरी चाही ही में है प्रभु मेरा कल्याण.
Beautiful.
Dhanyavad. Radhe Radhe. I'll see you all tomorrow. Good night.
Thank you so much, Nitinji. Thank you so much for this awesome session, like always. And thanks to all of you for wonderful, wonderful participation. Stay blessed. Good night. Have a good day. Thank you. See you tomorrow.